Okay, so this is my first interview as a part of my realty interview COVID-19 edition business.
Awesome. Congratulations on the launch.
Thank you so much. I would like to welcome you as my very first. Um,
I'm
this-
excited. I'm honored to be the first.
Thank you so much. So I would like you to introduce the audience who will see this to your business and then answer how has COVID-19 affected you?
Okay, so our company is basically what we do is we make an avocado seed brew. So it's a beverage that's made out of upcycled avocado seeds. And the idea is to create something which is like nutritious and delicious out of parts of food that somebody else would have potentially thrown away, and what we like to call the unloved parts of food, and to recreate and think of brand new ways to use food waste. So that's kind of what the company is about. And we were just about to launch our product, the avocado seed brew, in April. So we were all geared up for the launch when COVID hit us. So we are definitely rethinking about how we're going to take this product to market. We were looking at doing retail, and now we've kind of pivoted to doing more of like currently community building while we figure out how to be a direct-to-consumer business. But we have been making some really great content and putting together some cool ideas about how to, build awareness around the whole food waste issue.
That's so, like I said, I completely pivoted, so I completely understand. And I'm so glad that we were able to find a way to, take your existing strategy and then, just change it. I think that's really amazing because there are so many of us who were so confused as to what to do when everything hit.
We were too.
Yeah. So I guess,
because I guess the whole thing is like you're reimagining what the world is going to be and how it's going to look like. And we didn't know what were the rules in this new world.
Right. I guess that kind of goes into my second question. What do you feel is your greatest obstacle moving forward?
Okay, so we're a food and beverage company. So one of the best ways to get people to learn about your product is to give out free samples, which I think is going to be the hardest part of doing a food business and something that is so brand new. Like almost nobody has tasted an avocado seed brew before. They have no idea what it's going to taste like. They don't know if they're going to like it. And there's no way for me to sample with them right now unless I figure out like an online strategy where I can like email them, or not email them. I have to actually mail them a product for them to try it, which can be really expensive. So we're trying to figure out like a way for us to get our product into the hands of people, but also do it in a way that's affordable to us. Because like if you're giving out free samples, like it's easy for you to take one bottle and you can pour out like 20 samples out of a bottle. Like if you were at Whole Foods, you could do that. Now I would have to send 20 bottles of packaged product to people. So now not only do I have to bottle it, package it, like label it, I have to send it, which is also like a whole new additional thing. So I think that's going to be one of the biggest challenges for not just me, but all food companies that are doing a new product is like, how does anybody firstly, A, know that you exist? And secondly, you've got to convince them that my product is good enough to try by just buying it flat out without getting any kind of taster
Right,
or
because
sample.
I remember I used to go to Whole Foods every weekend and I would go to the little stand with all of the samples. Mm-hmm. And all of that is going to be so different now because so many companies are going to have to just completely pivot, their own marketing strategy and say, please, buy what I have and, hopefully you like it.
Yeah.
You have been able to try it. It's not the same customer experience as it would be, in retail, yeah, which is so interesting.
It's scary too, because like when it comes to what we're trying to do, which is create something which has never existed before, like the likelihood, like if it was another potato chip, for example, like people kind of know what to expect and it's not that wild. It's just like, oh yeah, okay, it's another potato chip. But if it's something that you've never heard of, or like you've never, like if for example, it was like a sweet potato jam. Like you'd be like, am I gonna like it? Like, am I gonna spend $6 buying this like little box of jam that I may or may not like at all? And then it becomes easier to go with the option that you know that you definitely like.
So I mean, I already touched on this too, but how, in your opinion, should small businesses approach marketing strategies now? I mean, do you think that waiting it out is kind of the best option to see if the retail strategy kind of opens back up in some way? Or do you think everyone should just focus on shipping and focus on, maybe even social media more and building that customer base online?
Yeah, well, the community building aspect of any brand has always been a really important piece, and I think it's just going to be so much more important now. And I honestly don't know when retail will go back to being normal. So like they've already canceled all of the samplings like in Whole Foods to the end of September as far as we know, and they're probably not going to just bring it back unless there's like something drastic like a vaccine or something comes into place where you're like suddenly no longer have to social distance and you can go back to the previous way of life. And until that kind of thing happens, where I think marketing is going to have to be more like you're going to have to be shipping out to consumers. I think also the fact that over the last couple of months, a lot of us have bought things online and have started to buy groceries online. And we've kind of gotten used to that, and it's more convenient than going to the grocery store and taking time out of your day. So I feel like online shopping and grocery shopping is definitely here to stay. And I think that we're just going to have to be really creative with how we reach out to people and how people discover our brand.
That's really great advice, because I think so many of us were concerned. Like, I was reading all of these statistics about, how small businesses are doing and how they're coping with everything. And it was really scary to think of, like, maybe I go in September and the shop I used to go to for years may not be there anymore. Everything is just changing so quickly. And I don't know.
Yeah. Like, I think I'm really worried about like even the restaurant space, because I feel like a lot of our favorite restaurants are gonna have a really hard time, especially because like if they hold 50 people now and then you have to have social distancing, like they can suddenly have only like say 20 tables, and then does it make sense for them to have a retail to have a restaurant if they can only serve 20 people at a time? Like, I don't know.
I mean, because that was my question too. There are some restaurants who are spacing it out, or at least they're trying to, the best they can. But for me, it feels like, the whole restaurant experience is, not really worrying about anything and being together, and it's about the community. And so once you kind of have that's been, altered by this entire crisis, it's like, how do you move forward from there? It's just, I don't know.
I feel like I mean, I may be completely wrong about this, but I feel like possibly like restaurants moving to like these cloud kitchens where they do all of their work somewhere, which is not like they make all of the food, and they probably are going to host like smaller events and do more catering, because then you can be surrounded by people that you care about. You can keep the numbers low, and I feel like that might be a good way to go. But also, I'm not in the restaurant space, so I don't know what is the actual like details of how that works, and if that pivot can work. But I feel like that's probably somewhere that we're going to see things going into, like rather than going out, that like the restaurant comes to you.
So I guess I started earlier by saying, what do you feel is your greatest obstacle? But I think I should also say, what are you most proud of and what do you think is your greatest achievement?
So we've actually started building out the community, and like we've kind of, for our company in particular, we really care about building like a culture around like reusing food and like discovering magic behind the fact that like if you stop and think for a moment of like what can I do with this avocado seed, it suddenly like opens, like it's like a mini big bang, and there's like a whole world and a whole universe in there. And I'm really excited about like introducing people to that universe and like putting this universe through our lens, and like the fascination and the joy that we get from looking at something and being like, hey, you don't have to throw that away. Actually, you can do this with it, you can do that with it, and help people kind of get to a place where they're buying less, and still getting all of the things that they needed and they have, and they're throwing away less and like living more consciously. And I also think that's one of the things that's great about this whole thing, is that like the system was broken, and we knew it and we weren't doing anything about it. But the fact that we've all just had to like change all of our habits right now, and we've been like forced to rethink a lot of our decisions and to spend more time at home, and then kind of become more aware and conscious of the impact that we've had on the world, and even on society. Like, I don't think that I ever thought that like what I do here would affect somebody in some part of China that I had never heard of, like Wuhan. Like what they do there now suddenly has me sitting at home and not being able to live my life because it started there, and it like traveled all around the world and it's affected everyone. So I think we're starting to see how deeply interconnected we all are. And I think that's going to be like, I think that's going to be a big driving factor in the fact that like now we have more power to make our own decisions and to be conscious as consumers about the kind of companies that we want to support and the kind of companies that we want to make it through this and to come out on the other side. So like, if I have a choice between two companies that make soap, and one of them makes soap with like sodium lauryl sulfate and all of these other harsh environmentally bad things, and then there's another company that takes care of the kind of ingredients that they use in their soap and is environmentally friendly, and I just switched to buying this environmentally friendly soap, and hundreds of other people switched to buying this soap, then suddenly it's just like we're voting with our money, and our money is worth so much more at this time that we can actually vote for a better world with every decision that we make. And I think I'm really excited about that.
That's so fascinating. It's almost like you're saying our emotional awareness has been heightened because
Mm-hmm.
of the crisis. I feel like for some people you would think it would be, the opposite, because everyone is so isolated from each other that, it's hard to think that everyone would feel more connected in consumerism and the way they consume things. But it's actually the opposite. People are feeling kind of the emotional awareness more because, they feel for all of these small businesses and all of these people who are now having to deal with financial stress. I think that's so amazing.
I mean, I think that I feel this way. I can't speak for everyone, but this is how I feel. But I do think that like we're really all concerned about like our favorite mom and shop grocery store. Like you said, like I want to see, like I want my favorite local restaurant to make it through this. Like I don't particularly care if McDonald's makes it through this, but I care that like like I care that Bear Burger makes it through this. Like I want them to be there on the other side of this, because I know that like I know what they stand for. I know what their values are. So I think that's kind of, I think people will be forced to make decisions about like, okay, if I'm going to eat out only once, where am I going to go? If I'm going to like, be put in a position that I'm going to have to go grocery shopping only once, like where am I going to go grocery shopping? And I think those will eventually come out to hopefully make a more conscious world.
So I have a future question.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be afraid, because I know some people are afraid when I say future question. It's not it's not a scary question. It was just, where do you see yourself and your business in maybe 10 to 15 years?
Yeah, like I really want to make a big impact to the food system, and I want the food system to like really not throw things away. So if I'm just talking about like the avocado seed brew right now, it's just one of our products, but I want to be able to help say everybody that deals with avocados not have to throw avocados away at all. So whether it's the farmers and they have a lot of avocados that have fallen off the tree, like what else can we do with them and help generate income and put money back into the people's hands who like really need it? Because like there's all these people that like live on a farm, and if we can help make their lives better, then it's amazing. And if we're able to like say a truckload of avocados just got stopped somewhere on their way to a grocery store, and now they're over ripened. And you can't use the avocado anymore, but can you do something else with it? Like potentially, like avocados are like full of like moisturizing ingredients, they're full of fats, which can be used to make amazing hair masks. So can you take that stuff and make a hair mask out of it rather than throwing it away? So I think like in 10 years, I want to be at a place where we can like make a difference to remove waste from the system entirely. And like, at least for avocados, that's what I want to do. That's where I'm going to start, and then move on to like one ingredient at a time.
I love that you actually have a detailed plan for where you're going to be in 10 years, because usually I ask that question and everyone goes, they look around and they go, I have absolutely no idea. That's what I'm doing, because I'm like, I have no idea.
Well, I'm a dreamer. What can I say?
So, last question, what specifically can we do to support your business? If you have, a website or a social media page or anything you'd like to say in our last few minutes.
Yeah, so we're trying to build a community. Like I said, we're sharing a lot of really fun content about like how you can reuse food, and to reduce your waste and reduce your carbon footprint. So you can see us on Instagram. We're at Drink Reveal, and our website is the same. It's drinkreveal.com. We're coming up with like a food waste encyclopedia. We have like a scavenger hunt coming up on Sunday. We have like all these do it togethers planned where you can like save stuff that you would have normally thrown away, and we're going to get together online and we're going to make something lovely out of it. So we have a lot of really cool things planned for how to be more sustainable, and it would be great if you guys would come join us.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time out.
Thank you for interviewing me.
So much to me. I mean, the audience won't know, but you were there when I first started my CL project, and I had no idea what I was going to do. And I called you, on video chat, and I had nothing planned, and you really talked me through it. And so I just like to say how much you really mean to me and how much I appreciate you. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. I've always had fun working with you, and I'm really excited to see what you do with your plans. I know they've pivoted and they've changed, and let me tell you that that's normal right now. Actually, you should be proud of the fact that you were able to change things, because that's the sign of like somebody that's going to make it.
Oh, thank you so much.